against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, pragmatic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Elizabeth Warren once again getting absolutely owned. She got community noted again. She continues to make the case that Bitcoin is being used to undermine national security. It's a very, very strong statement. Of course, she's bringing up the word money laundering, all of that stuff. She's trying to throw everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. But she got community noted again, just like she got community noted when she claimed that the SEC made the wrong decision when they approved the spot Bitcoin ETF. And not only do we have the data for you guys, because she's making this very strong case that she's saying that, Bitcoin and crypto in general is being used, to undermine national security. It's being used to fund terrorism. It's being used to skirt sanctions. But if you actually look at the data, and we've pulled the data up for you guys many times, the actual amount of money actually being laundered through the traditional financial system is like magnitudes higher. It's a much larger amount than the amount of money being quote unquote laundered using Bitcoin. So again, but of course that doesn't fit Elizabeth Warren's narrative. She also, in case you guys didn't know, she has a bill currently in the Senate. She has 20 senators, including, I think, 3 Republicans that have signed up for this bill that would essentially be a de facto ban on Bitcoin mining in the United States. It would attack, the ability for people to take self-custody. It's essentially an attack on Bitcoin. So, we like to stay on top of it. We like to cover it. It's important that you guys are aware. Anyways, no more delay. I want to bring up my co-host, always optimistic. He has a smile today. Optimus Fields. How you doing, Opti?
I am doing wonderful. Another week down, another week to go. Man, I just love this. I get to hang out with my buddy over here and we talk Bitcoin. Like, how could I not be happy, Nico? This is the greatest job ever. This is amazing. Anyways, crazy stuff. I really love that Elizabeth Warren got community noted. Shouts out to Twitter. Just love that they cannot win in the mimetic war. It's absolutely beautiful. We covered it last week that they're trying to put their hat in the rink and start to meme with us. And it's our meme world and everyone else is just living in it. But anyways, we'll talk about that during the show. We do have a very great guest, Gary Leland of BitBlock Boom. Nico and I actually met officially in the flesh in 2020 at BitBlock Boom, and been friends ever since. So
yeah, it all started.
We wouldn't be here without you.
We
apparently.
wouldn't be here and I said that too in the intro. I did an intro at BitBlock Boom 2023, and I said, I'm like, Gary, I would not be, Simply Bitcoin wouldn't be here without you, because Opti, me and you met in the flesh for the first time. We stayed together. We got a room together.
Pause.
So yeah, and it's all because of BitBlock Boom. So Gary, welcome to the show. We're really happy to have you.
Well, thanks for all the kind words. I'm feeling kind of special here today. Hearing all that kind of stuff going on there. Yeah, it was also great to meet you guys, which I've now seen you guys several times. Opti, have not seen you as much as I have Nico, and you live in the same town I live in, basically.
I don't do anything on the weekends, Gary. I'll make it to a meetup soon. But yeah, I literally
wait, Opti, I feel like you've been saying that for months.
I know. I just don't leave the house.
You gotta go to a meetup, bro.
Yeah, our meetups are on Fridays. They're not on weekends. They're on Fridays, but you may consider Fridays a weekend. But
yes,
it's hard to believe I see Nico more than I see you. Is what I'm saying, since you live here. I mean that's just, even if you didn't come to my meetup,
all right, I'm out of here.
There's a Dallas Bitcoin meetup. There's all kinds of them.
Opti, WTF, bro?
All right, I'm getting red in the face now. I don't know. Can we change the topic?
Okay, Opti, I think we should release a poll on YouTube and ask YouTube.
Oh, now
should Opti go to a meetup? Okay. Everyone's gonna say yes. So
any meetup in Dallas. I've seen him by now. He goes to any of them.
No, I get my Bitcoin fill on the internet, and I tune out on the weekends.
I don't know why you
man.
keep saying this weekend jack stuff.
Friday is my weekend. Friday is definitely my weekend.
Tuesday nights. There's one on Wednesday.
It's even worse.
I think there's even one on Thursday night. There's almost one every night of the week in Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh, man. You, Opti, you caught dead to rights, bro. You have no excuse.
Oh man, all
You
right.
have no excuse. You have no excuse. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be a great show. Let's jump straight into the numbers. We have a lot to talk about today. Let's check it out.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. Made it incredibly easy for you guys. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website. You can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $40,670. Sats per dollar, 2,459. Block height, 826,864. Blocks to halving, 13,136. Halving estimate, April 20th. Gary, you did that on purpose, didn't you?
No. I don't even know what you're talking about. Sorry, Gary, I got a call. I got a call there while you were doing that.
Gary knows Satoshi, and he timed the halving around BitBlock Boom. That was 100% on purpose.
You know, I think I did pretty good at guessing it early as I did. I think it's going to happen the week after, so I think I did pretty good. Well,
I think you're the conference closest to the halving, so that's really interesting. Total Lightning Network capacity 4,888 Bitcoin. Capacity value 198 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation 1.74%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin $797 billion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 5.79%. Anyways, I can't wait to get Gary's thoughts on this. This was a video that we didn't cover last week. Actually, we didn't have a chance. There were so many other videos that we covered, but it is the CEO of America's largest bank, Jamie Dimon, and he had some things to say about Bitcoin. So let's check out the video and then we'll talk about it.
Could we pivot to a topic that I know you find sort of laborious at this point?
That's a good word.
Which is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This ETF was approved just about a week ago now, and I think a lot of people are trying to understand what it ultimately means. JP Morgan, I imagine if you were a client of JP Morgan, you could call your broker and say, get me some of this ETF. Mm-hmm. What are you telling your brokers to tell them back when they make that call?
Yeah. So this is an important thing. This is the last time I've ever talked about this in CNBC, okay? So help me God. Blockchain is real. It's a technology. We use it. It's going to move money. It's going to move data. It's efficient. We've been talking about that for 12 years, too, and it's very small, okay? So I think we've wasted too many words in that. Cryptocurrencies, there are two types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and then we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing things.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, sex trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe $50 or $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves. So
speculate.
Yeah. Now, okay. Now, my last statement, the last time I ever talk about Bitcoin, is I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice was don't get involved. But I don't want to tell any one of you what to do. It's a free country.
What do you make of BlackRock? What do you make of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believed it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. It may be that not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
So again, like he's playing two sides because he's telling you like I'm never going to tell people what to do, and then he testifies in Congress that governments all over the planet should ban it. So I mean, it's two different takes. Obviously, Sorkin got under his skin. He cursed on the legacy corporate media. He said shit. And then again, it kind of coincides, coincidentally, of course, this is a total coincidence, wink, wink, with what Elizabeth Warren's narrative is on Bitcoin, that it's only used for money laundering, that it's only used for, all this laundry list of bad things that no one likes. So, I mean, Gary, I want to get your take on this. You've been in the industry for a minute. You've been here a while. Does this surprise you? If you had Jamie Dimon on the stream with us right now, what would you tell him?
Well, I would first of all ask him if he would promise me that's the last time I'll hear him say that. I mean, oh my gosh, this is the same guy who said he'd fire people that worked for him, I believe, if they were investing in Bitcoin or had anything to do with Bitcoin. And then, if I understand correctly, isn't JP Morgan involved somehow
Yeah, they're the official partner for BlackRock's ETF, or one of the partners. So
his own company's partnering in this business, and he's saying for the 10th year or whatever that it's used by criminals. I just don't know if I think he's probably a pretty smart guy. I mean, obviously, to get to that level and to that wealth, you have to have some intelligence. So he has to really understand Bitcoin, I would think. So I believe that there must be some underlying reason that he's still saying this that's going to financially help him. Because there's no way that he doesn't at all. He has enough people working for him that have researched it and been able to explain it to him that he's my dad going, how do you work a computer? So but I hope he is telling the truth. We won't hear from him again.
I mean, what's the over under on that, Gary?
I don't know, but we ought to. I'll take it that we hear from him in a year. I'll go ahead and bet on that.
100%. He is definitely going to be talking about it again. That was a bad bet against himself. And then Opti, to you, that contradiction, man, like, I don't care if you Bitcoin, like as if, it's talking about a drug or something. I don't care if you Bitcoin and then, testifying in front of Congress saying all governments around the world should ban this thing. Right. So he clearly cares. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it really goes back to that meme of don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. And, JP Morgan, I forget what the official name is, but they are associated with the BlackRock ETF. I think it's one of the partners or I don't remember exactly. You guys can fact check me in the chat. But yeah, I mean, look, it's very simple. What's the meme of it's hard to get someone to do or say the truth when it's their job to basically do the opposite. Of course, JP Morgan, on a very rudimentary level, understands what Bitcoin does. I'm almost convinced he knows exactly what Bitcoin will do to his business, hence why he's kind of angling the like blockchain good, Bitcoin bad. Like what year are we in? I thought we have completely destroyed these narratives and these floodlines and calling Bitcoin a pet rock. Like it's so funny that we are going back to the same FUD, the same like low-hanging fruit, just like this, what they would think is destroying Bitcoin. Like to us, we've gone so far past these same old, tired ways of explaining Bitcoin. And it really just goes to show that Wall Street, it's not in their best interest to embrace Bitcoin, which is very interesting that the spot Bitcoin ETF has been approved because, you got to kind of think in your own mind, like this must be Wall Street's thinking that like, okay, this is how we can control Bitcoin is by dropping a spot Bitcoin ETF. And now like, the adults are in the room and we can finally corral this Bitcoin thing. And, who wants peer-to-peer money? It's just for criminals. And I say it all the time, like these same low-hanging fruit examples of, Bitcoin is just for criminal uses, like until they cannot get away with saying this because people are realizing like, look, my neighbors are doing, my parents use Bitcoin. Like they're going to continue to roll this stuff out. And it's very simple. Like, if you haven't actually used Bitcoin, if you've never really experienced Bitcoin, then you really don't understand what Bitcoin is. And I think that's a great question to ask people nowadays. It's like, yeah, you can be skeptical of Bitcoin. You can hate on Bitcoin all you want, but until you use Bitcoin, you really don't get what's going on over here. And I think that's an important question to be asking people. Like, hey, you can have all the opinions you want. What's the saying? You know, everyone has an opinion. It's like, you guys know the end. Until they actually use Bitcoin, then really what they say doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. And it's so funny that, you know, we saw Larry Fink last week also say that they're going to look into like the tokenizations of all these different assets. And we're just going full circle again. You know, this is like the 2017 era all over again, that like, oh, blockchain technology is good, but Bitcoin's bad because it's for criminals. It's like, oh my God, it's like Groundhog Day again. And it just really goes to show that as much as we really didn't like the 2017 ICO boom, even though it was backed by venture capitalists and Wall Street, like, I think Wall Street opening up the floodgates to shitcoinery for Main Street in this next cycle, like, it's going to be so unbearable. I'm like not excited for it at all, but it like we still have to completely destroy these narratives and just show that having a ledger that cannot be debased, that they cannot tamper, that is hard capped at 21 million, like, this is the real use case of Bitcoin, and this is why number will go up. And this just goes to show, Nico, we will have a job for a little bit here on Simply Bitcoin, because people will not be educated on what Bitcoin is moving forward, and we're going to have to destroy all the misinformation. So I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's just salty. I agree with Gary with what he was saying, that there must be some type of incentive that we're not seeing for him to take that stance. Clearly, you could tell, like, he's sick and tired of because it's embarrassing, right? You know, regardless of whatever his statue and whatever his accomplishment, I mean, being like a cantillionaire, you know, he's been talking shit about Bitcoin for like at least 5, 6, 7 years, right? 10 years, right? So what was the price of Bitcoin back then where the price of Bitcoin is now? So like, clearly he was wrong. It reminds me of, I have a buddy of mine, we went to high school together, and currently he's like a VP at Goldman. And as soon as the ETF got approved, I texted him. I said, "Hey man, how does it feel to be on Team Bitcoin?" And he said he just replied with like "F you" or something like that. So like, you know, again, like, why is he saying that? Because I've been telling him about this for like 8 years now. But a lot of people in TradFi, it's like they're like vampires, and like, you know, Bitcoin is like garlic or something, and they're like, I can't deal with that. And then all of a sudden, you know, it gets Larry Fink's backing, right? And all of a sudden, it, you know, in their eyes,
oh wait, Bitcoin's great.
You know, it starts to have that legitimization, and they're just like, but like, it's almost as if they're having like this cognitive dissonance in their head. They can't believe what is happening.
It's hard for people to admit they're wrong. That's the thing. And then to sit back and go, oh my gosh, I could have got into this when it was 3,500, whatever, and now I'm going to have to get into it, and it's 40,000. That's a hard pill to swallow. Both of those. The fact you're wrong and the fact that you missed a lot of profit. If that's your job, making profit, and it kind of makes you look like a dumbass. You know, kind of like Kramer. How long is Kramer going to go? I mean, my God, how many years before people go, this guy's an idiot? You know, I mean.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, it's so like, you could say that, Gary, but it's like and I agree, but there's an inverse, you know, Kramer rule, right? So as long as you do the opposite of Kramer, you're good.
Yeah, I was trying to think if we need to get an inverse, check out what Diamond says. And what happens at this point. Maybe there's a possible case there, use case for reverse Diamond. You know?
Reverse Diamond, reverse Kramer, reverse Diamond. That's the signal. Anyways, guys, we have a lot to talk about during the news. We're going to talk about Elizabeth Warren's latest attack on Bitcoin. Let's check it out. Here we go. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to get into Bitcoin mining and don't know where to start? That's why I want to introduce you to Scott's Build a Mine Bootcamp. He will show you how to build your own Bitcoin mine, how to get the project funded, how to get your facility filled with miners as quickly as possible. With a little luck, and by putting all his techniques and strategies to work that he's developed mining Bitcoin for the last 6 years, you could be mining 5 million Satoshis per day or 0.05 Bitcoin in less than 3 months. On the free webinar, he will give you a high-level roadmap that will help you get on your way to building, owning, and operating your own Bitcoin mining farm. Begin your mining journey today. Register for the free webinar now. Click the link in the description of the video below or contact Scott directly on Telegram using his handle @OfferedScott and learn how to mine those precious, precious Satoshis.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more. All right, everybody, I made it easy for you guys once again. Scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Foundation Devices website where you can get yourself a Passport hardware wallet. Remember, guys, not your keys, not your cheese. You have absolutely no excuse to not take self-custody of your Bitcoin, because if you do get caught with your pants down and you have your Bitcoin on an exchange, or you bought the Bitcoin ETF for whatever reason, and Elizabeth Warren takes your cheese, we told you. Anyways, so this is what I want to talk about today. Elizabeth Warren's latest attack, latest tweet. She's very salty. One of her campaign slogans was, she's proud to be anti-Bitcoin, anti quote unquote crypto. Elizabeth Warren clearly wants you to wants to force you to use the money that is designed to lose purchasing power. I would go as far. I would say she's a tyrant at this point. She's misrepresenting information. She's misrepresenting data. This is her latest attempt. So this is a tweet that she released January 21st. So yesterday, she says a new USGAO report confirms that rogue nations are using crypto to dodge sanctions and undermine our national security. It's time for crypto to follow the same anti-money laundering rules as everyone else. I've got a bill to make it happen. So here's the community note. The U.S. Treasury Department's own February 2022 National Money Laundering Risk Assessment Report states that fiat is the preferred currency for financial crimes, right? And if you actually take a look at a graphic of that, you can see the staunch difference between the two. This is in the billions, right? So, tiny little amount, of money, quote unquote, money laundered using Bitcoin compared to the absolute ginormous amount using the traditional financial system. Not to mention the fact that, criminals like fiat dollars, right? They're untraceable. It's not an open blockchain, right? It's not an open ledger, right? The facts speak for themselves. And and this is part of the reason, unfortunately, that wallet of Satoshi got spooked and decided to pull out of the US because of this rhetoric coming out of Elizabeth Warren. And, this tweet, and it's the messaging in this tweet is so strong from Wallet of Satoshi. It says, unfortunately, our app is not listed on app stores in the USA, China, and North Korea. Like, that is a very, very strong statement. I don't think this has anything to do with money laundering. I don't think it has anything to do with, the claims that Elizabeth Warren is making. I think if she was actually concerned with the truth, she would do a little bit of research. I think this has to do with, governments wanting to keep their monopoly on money, to keep their control on money. So this is the bill that Elizabeth Warren is referencing. It's continuing to pick up steam in the Senate. Again, like I said, 20 senators have signed up for it. They're supporting this bill, including Republicans as well. So you could say that it's bipartisan. In this bill, it would include extend Bank Secrecy Act responsibilities, including KYC requirements to digital asset wallet providers, miners, validators, and other network participants that may act to validate, secure, or facilitate digital asset transactions. So essentially, the bill would force wallets to KYC their users. It would force miners, even though that's not feasible. It would force nodes, that's what validators are, and other network participants. So essentially force everyone to KYC everyone. That's not how Bitcoin works. That's not feasible. That's not enforceable. Pierre Richard said it would be a de facto ban on the Bitcoin mining industry in the US. It wouldn't be a direct ban. It would say you can't mine, but it would enforce rules that are unenforceable, right? The second part, address a major gap with respect to, quote, unhosted digital wallets. That's the key here. And the wording's really important, right? So if you take a look at that word, right, hosted, unhosted, it makes it seem like an unhosted wallet is the abnormal. It's not normal, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen that word in the Satoshi white paper, in the Bitcoin white paper, unhosted. I've never seen that word. That's a word that's been invented by government bureaucrats to make self-custody seem scary, right? Because that's really what it's all about. It goes on to say, which allows individuals to bypass AML and sanctions checks by directing FinCEN to finalize and implement its December 2020 proposed rule, which would require banks and money service businesses to verify customer and counterparty identities, keep records, and file reports in relation to certain digital asset transactions involving unhosted wallets or wallets hosted in non-BSA compliant jurisdictions. So what does Elizabeth Warren have against unhosted wallets? Well, the reason that the 6102 order was so successful back in the 1930s was because of the centralization of the custody of gold because of its physical characteristics. Bitcoin is unique in the sense that if you can write down or, properly store a 12-word or 24-word seed phrase, you can theoretically store millions, billions, trillions of dollars with just those 12 to 24 words. And that makes it very difficult for governments to confiscate on a massive scale, right? So I think that's really what it comes down to. And again, this is something that was predicted back in the book, The Sovereign Individual. And I love to read this passage because they really hit the nail on the head, even though this book was written back in the 1990s. It goes on to say, new technologies will allow the holders of wealth to bypass the national monopolies that have issued and regulated money in the modern period. Their importance for controlling the world's wealth will be transcended by mathematical algorithms that have no physical existence. In the new millennium, cyber money controlled by private markets will supersede fiat money issued by governments. Lacking their accustomed scope to tax and inflate, governments, even in traditionally civil countries, will turn nasty. Businesses that offer services that facilitate the realization of autonomy by individuals will be subject to infiltration, sabotage, and disruption. Arbitrary forfeiture of property, already commonplace in the United States, where it occurs 5,000 times a week, will become even more pervasive. Governments will violate human rights, censor the free flow of information, sabotage useful technologies, and worse. This is where we are. This is separation of money and state after all. And I think Elizabeth Warren is trying to hold on for dear life. She really loves that privilege of the money printer that governments have abused throughout history. Anyways, Gary, I want to get your take on this. What's going on with Elizabeth Warren? She seems angry. She seems upset.
First of all politicians pretty much are crooks. I mean, let's just face it. You don't get a job that pays $200,000 a year and in 10 years have millions and millions and millions of dollars. It just doesn't happen unless unless something's going on kind of fishy. On the wallet of Satoshi you mentioned earlier, which is kind of off subject here, but, if people are still using that wallet, because I actually have that wallet on my phone still, I think people need to be aware that when Apple does updates, sometimes old apps don't work anymore. So, if you have an old app on your phone and 2 or 3 updates come out, that old app might not work anymore with the new updates. So, you shouldn't have a lot of money on your phone anyway, but I think in the US, you might want to be careful of having a lot of money on wallet of Satoshi for sure. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. But yeah, you have to sit back and look and like I said earlier, because of the fact that I'm not going to say all politicians, but most politicians are crooks. What would be the goal here? I mean, she's never had a bill pass, I don't think, ever. I have a hard time believing this would be her first one to pass, but it's kind of like the Jamie Dimon thing. What's her profit motive on this? Because she certainly has one since she is a politician.
Yeah, I think that what's their profit motive, and the profit motive is Bitcoin is a threat to the money printer, and it's what you said, like how these politicians, with a government salary of like what 150, 170K, they're worth tens of millions of dollars, after a decade in Congress and Senate. How does that work? Well, it's because of their proximity to the money printer. And I think if you're someone like Elizabeth Warren that has, milked the system, benefited from the system for as long as she has, she sees Bitcoin the same way that Jamie Dimon sees Bitcoin. It's, and then the part that like kind of gets under my skin a little bit is that they're not being authentic. They're not being sincere. They're not really using actual arguments as to why Bitcoin is bad. They're just saying money laundering, which is, by the way, JP Morgan has been charged with breaking so many rules, and they just treat it like a cost of doing business at this point. So again, like I feel like it's a bit of projection. It's a bit of projection. They're projecting onto us what, they might feel that they are guilty of themselves. So yeah, I mean, shame on Elizabeth Warren, but I mean, look, as I know a lot of people don't like Elon Musk, and I'm a big fan of Nostr. But the reality is that, the bulk of people right now are on Twitter. And you can't deny that Elon freed the bird, so to speak, a little bit. Definitely helped in shifting the Overton window for sure. So, the fact that he added this community note feature, politicians, including the president of the U.S., can't get away with, and I'm talking about Joe Biden, of course, and if Trump was in office, if he lied, it worked the same way. But, they can't get away with lying the way that they've been used to lying, right? They no longer control, they're no longer in control of the gatekeepers of information, right? So they can't control the narrative the way that they've been used to doing. This is something that was brought up in Davos last week during the Continuing conference. The Ursula von whatever, the head of the European Union, was talking about like the biggest threat to the world right now is misinformation and disinformation. Well, yeah, sure. Like if I've been a government official and I've been used to fucking lying through my teeth and having absolutely no repercussions or nothing, and all of a sudden you're getting community noted on Twitter in front of everyone, it's completely embarrassing. I would say that's misinformation, disinformation too. Like they're getting, it's just ridiculous at this point. I almost feel bad for them. But I don't. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on all this, brother?
Wait, you guys are telling me Nancy Pelosi isn't the greatest traitor of our generation? Who could have saw this coming? What is going on here? Seriously though.
Opti didn't kill himself.
Shut up. That is bad juju. To Elizabeth Warren's point, though, I am also anti-crypto. It is Bitcoin only. So at least she's like kind of right, sort of, I would agree that crypto is bad, but this is why we are Simply Bitcoin, and it is a Bitcoin only show. But man, Elizabeth Warren is really cementing herself as my favorite politician, like by far. I thought it was Brad Sherman because I just love seeing politicians squirm like this and continue to expose themselves as being evil and tyrannical and really just out of touch with what is going on in the world. Of course, why do we even look at the geriatrics that are in politics to explain to us why new technology is good? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that this is where we are. And again, man, I don't even know how many times we have to like continue to beat on this drum, but it's not about protecting people like they would love for you to believe. It's always about control. It will always be about control. And we say it all the time, the move for controlling information on social media is the very same move of trying to control transactions. So like, if these people do not want you to talk freely, and especially we're in America, like she's an American politician. What is going on here? I thought they're supposed to uphold the oaths of the Constitution and freedom of speech, and they constantly roll themselves out here and bash on free speech. And with that comes the idea that they do not want you to transact freely. We know why this happens is because they want to control the economy. They want to control your behavior. Again, remember the article or the PDF that Nico pulled up last week about the Federal Reserve themselves saying that they know money controls behavior and they will use the money to modify behavior. Remember what Klaus Schwab's been saying? What is it like? We have to control people's behavior. We have to. You
have to say it in the right accent.
I can't do any other accent but my Valley Girl accent.
If you can't say it in the right accent, it's not.
It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit.
We have to control the people's behavior. That's
again, guys. Going back to my numbers, like
we have to roll out the CBDCs. Optimus Fields is a big prepare of misinformation and disinformation.
Again, guys, can we just like ask Elizabeth Warren whether she's ever actually used Bitcoin, or is she just propagating this fear?
Of course, this FUD? Bitcoin.
Yeah, like guys, it's so simple. If they've never used Bitcoin, why do we care what they say? Like, just send a transaction and hold Bitcoin, and then we'll take your opinion on Bitcoin. Like, it's very simple. And then also, Nico, I have to pull up this masterpiece of a meme that I made a long time ago. TLDR, hosted wallet versus unhosted wallet, and the hosted wallet has a leech on it. It's very simple why they want you guys to have quote unquote hosted wallets and why they are fighting unhosted wallets, guys. Shouts out to the memes. But yeah, man, like what? It's crazy to me that people even listen to politicians about new technology. Like they are so behind the curve, and they've constantly shown themselves to just want to control every aspect about it. It's like they're literally politicians, they're lawmakers. What is their job? Is to make more laws and take away more liberties from you. Like, this is where we are right now, and this is why Bitcoin is so powerful, is because we have built a system that is outside of their control, and they're freaking out about it. It's so beautiful to see. Like, I love the sound of ringing in the morning by politicians. It's like the Apocalypse Now meme, it makes me feel good in the morning.
Gary, I heard that Klaus Schwab was potentially making an appearance at BitBlock Boom 2024. Is that correct?
Well, we haven't. This is a secret now. Don't let that out. This is a secret. But to follow up on Opti though, what in the hell is with all these old farts running everything and then making decisions on technology, which they have no idea what technology is today? So I mean, I think it's a great reason. This is an example of a great reason for term limits. So we can have young people in there over and over. For instance, on President, we're going to have 2 80-year-olds running. Oh, my gosh. I mean, we need to get some young blood in there that knows what's going on, especially with technology. Making decisions on technology when you probably wouldn't even have a computer if you didn't own an iPhone is pretty hard to believe.
100%. I agree with that.
Shouts out to Gary. Look, hold on, Nico. I don't mean to cut you off, but everyone yells at me and Nico because we constantly use the boomer meme to like make examples, but Gary's a good example of the boomers we do like. So shouts out to Gary.
Gary's
I look in the mirror every damn day and see I'm a boomer. It's not a damn surprise. None of them are surprised that they're boomers. They see themselves in the mirror every morning. No matter how good they feel when they wake up, they go brush their teeth and go, oh my gosh, I'm an old fart.
There's a lot of Bitcoin boomers, and they're absolutely based. I was at Bitcoin Naples over the weekend, and they did a panel it was called Bitcoin Boomers, and it was great. It was like Larry Lepard on there, just a bunch of incredibly based. But yeah, I mean, the average age, I think, in the Senate and Congress is just some ridiculously high number. So yeah, I do agree. I think term limits are necessary. I think Bitcoin, this is one of the things that Bitcoin does fix. And you guys heard it here first. Gary Leland just admitted that Klaus Schwab will be a speaker at BitBlock Boom 2024.
Man, I'm not telling you any secrets anymore, Nico.
What will the name of the panel be, Gary?
You will own nothing in like.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Okay, guys, before we get onto the culture to talk about BitBlock Boom 2024, I do want to give a very special shout out to our sponsors. First, Bitcoin evangelism. We have 10 million people to orange pill. Bitcoin evangelism Mint is an absolute beast of a resource for orange pilling no coiners and altcoiners alike. This is a book for Bitcoiners who know Bitcoin but have a hard time explaining it to their friends. It's a book for Bitcoiners who are trying to explain Bitcoin only to altcoiners. So if you have that father, mother, uncle, brother, sister that just, they for some reason they follow Elizabeth Warren, they believe what she has to say, definitely buy this book of Bitcoin evangelism and it'll help you orange pill them. So it's called Bitcoin Evangelism, Planting Seeds for the Centralized Revolution. You could scan the QR code or check the link in the video description and it'll take you directly to Amazon, so you purchase yourself a copy. I also want to give a shout out to Kaboom Rex. They're the most trusted place to buy, sell, host, and buy, sell, and host mining equipment. It's Monday. Sorry, guys. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to the Kaboom Racks Telegram Marketplace, where you can connect with a member of their awesome sales team. They make purchasing miners easy and transparent. You could also sell mining equipment with them, access their vast network of domestic and international customers. Guys, this is where I get my Bitcoin miners. Check out Kaboom Racks today. Scan the QR code on your screen or check the link in the video description. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
All right, Gary. Well, happy to have you on, but let's just start at the beginning here. For those that don't know, what is BitBlock Boom?
BitBlock Boom is basically just a real Bitcoin conference. I went to a lot of conferences that were Bitcoin conferences that didn't do as much Bitcoin as it is shitcoins. So we started up BitBlock Boom to talk about Bitcoin and only Bitcoin.
Yeah, I love the tag right here. This is not a shitcoin, NFT, or blockchain event. We talk about Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin. This is the way. This is the way. All right, well, just to let people know, where is BitBlock Boom? We have a move this year, and going back to its roots.
Yeah, we left. We went from Austin. Well, first 4 years were in Dallas. Then we went to Austin for 2 years. Now for the 7th year, we're coming back to Dallas, and we've always been in August. The last weekend in August, matter of fact, for the first 6 years. So now we're really changing it up. Not only are we coming back to Dallas, we are doing it in April, April 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. So right before the halvening. I think I saw the other night on Time Chain Calendar, if the blocks would move up to 9 minutes, the halvening would happen during BitBlock Boom. But they'd have to move up to 9 minutes, for that entire time.
And we have a promo code for you guys. If you guys haven't got your tickets yet, you can use promo code Simply, and I think it gets you 10% off your tickets to BitBlock Boom. So definitely get your tickets quickly. It is going to be sooner this year, ladies and gentlemen. So don't sit on your hands. It's going to be in April. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And I remember, is it going to be the same venue, Gary, when you guys did it during the pandemic?
Yes, we a fan favorite, I guess you would say. People really loved it. So when I brought it back to Dallas, I didn't even look at other venues. I just went straight there. It's a smaller venue than we've had the last 2 years, which a lot of people like the conference being a little bit smaller. And but it's where the layout of the hotel is just fantastic. I mean, the bar is right there to the entrance to the convention, and the pool's right there. And I mean, basically, that's where LobbyCon and PoolCon were born. So we're bringing it back home.
It was called LobbyCon. It was
called
the
longest Bitcoin running Bitcoin conference, or maybe the longest running conference in the world now.
It could be. I mean, so many people come and go
because of 2020. Because we held down 2020.
We did it during the pandemic when no one else did. So I think Tone did it the year of the pandemic, because he did it like right before the pandemic hit, like in February or something. But he didn't do it the next year. So, but we were older than him anyway by a year. So this is just a great conference. I mean, I personally like it. I designed this conference because I wanted to hang out with Bitcoiners, and I was tired of going to shitcoin events. Even I went to an event called the Texas Bitcoin Conference. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. And I don't think anyone even spoke about Bitcoin at that event. So I was like, wow, this kind of sucks. I mean, so BitBlock Boom, I think if you haven't been, it's a good event to go to for the first time in Dallas. Dallas enabled us to lower all our costs, right off the bat. Everything was cheaper, and everything is cheaper than it was, including the hotel rooms. I know a lot of people like to get Airbnbs, but the price of the hotel rooms to be at the hotel, it's well worth it. Because I mean, just the convenience and hanging out with Bitcoiners all day. I mean, you guys know from the last time you were there, there's Bitcoin stuff going on 24 hours a day at the hotel, whether it's hanging out at the conference, drinking at the bar, playing poker, whatever it is. There's stuff going on 24/7. So if you want to hang out with Bitcoiners, I think I've kind of like put together a good way to hang out with just Bitcoiners. Some people's conferences, to be at their Bitcoin conference, is you just have to have Bitcoin, or you sell Bitcoin or work with Bitcoin. But you can do a lot of other things, like exchanges. They have Bitcoin and 20,000 other shitcoins. That's why we don't have any exchanges. We are Bitcoin only. If you're a shitcoiner, you're not here, whether you're into Bitcoin or not. You can't sponsor this.
You're not invited.
You're not. I mean, people come up to me all the time. It's kind of crazy. I go, Gary, this guy over here was talking about Ethereum or some shit. And I have to go over there and address it, and I go over there and I go, hey, I've had reports you're talking about shitcoins. Oh, I'm not talking about shitcoins. They're crazy. I said, they aren't just making this shit up. I mean, you're obviously talking about shitcoins. Well, I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore. I said, we do it anymore, we're kicking you out. I mean, we definitely do enforce the no shitcoining rule. I don't think anyone else enforces that like we do. Our rules used to say, I took them off because I thought maybe I was being too obnoxious, but first time you're reported for talking about a shitcoin, someone will come over and talk to you. Second time, we'll take you out in the hallway. Third time, we'll kick you out. So I'm pretty sure I don't want to hear that shit. And no one else at my conference does either. I mean, it's not like I go to a Bitcoin conference and some guy who's been in crypto for a year telling me how good XRP is going to be is going to go, oh my God, I'm glad you are the person who told me about it, because I never realized how good XRP is. Now I'm going to sell half my Bitcoin and buy some XRP. Thank you very much. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
100%.
Love it.
100%.
Well, Nico, before I cut you off, talk LobbyCon.
Yeah. So wait, hold on, because okay. So I have to. So shout out to Surfer Jim first of all, and we would hang out on Bitcoin Kindergarten all the time, and this was like in the bear market of 2017 to 2020, and we would just all kind of like, simply didn't exist. Like it was just like the very beginning of all this. It's a lot bigger now. And Surfer Jim would hang out with us, and he essentially like he was like, Nico, like you have to go to a Bitcoin conference. I've never been to a Bitcoin. I don't even know what a Bitcoin conference is. Like, you have to go to this thing. Like it's like you don't understand.
It's where all the people you want to talk to are hanging out.
Yeah, but it's also people that like think like you, because like you're a Bitcoiner and you have like your no coiner friends and like whatever, and then you're just looking at them. You're like, this person's completely brain. They're like in the fiat matrix hard, right? They still think voting makes a difference, right? Like like it was really, really nice to be and have the ability to hang out with other like-minded individuals in meat space, like in the flesh, right? And that's what really, these conferences are about. And my first one was BitBlock Boom, the year of the pandemic. Everyone didn't want to wear a mask. It was great. It was like a rebellion in the lobby. And
they gave up.
Yeah, they gave up. So and then Opti and I got a room together. I was like, Opti, do you want to go to this? He's like, yeah, let's go. And that's like the first time we met, and the friendship really started there. And then fast forward, Simply Bitcoin's born and all that stuff. And then we did a news desk last year at BitBlock Boom, which was absolutely incredible. So yeah, yeah, we're going to do that this year as well. So BitBlock Boom really holds a very special place in my heart as a Bitcoin conference. And it truly is a Bitcoin conference, right? You're going to go there and see Bitcoiners. You're not going to see any shitcoiners. Anyways, I see Opti, you have something pulled up.
Yeah. So Gary was mentioning some stuff going on. He's got a special event he wants to talk about. But maybe before we touch on this one, what can people look forward to? What do you have on the docket for BitBlock Boom this year?
Well, we have a great lineup of speakers, but our workshops this year, we're really doing a job on the workshops, and Santos is helping incredible amount, and Rockstar Developer. But we're having on Friday workshops. One workshop room is just on Lightning. The other workshop room is just on Nostr. So for those who are interested in Nostr, this is going to be a great set of workshops. In the past, our workshops have been kind of like just a little mix of everything. So we've kind of organized it this year, trying to make it a little bit more in line with what it is. I also want to go back to what you were talking about with LobbyCon. A lot of people, first of all, BitBlock Boom has like a lot of different kind of tickets you can buy. People who work for me hate it because they're used to a conference where you buy a ticket. At BitBlock Boom, you can buy a ticket to the whole event. You could buy a ticket to Thursday night's dinner, or a ticket to Friday night's dinner, or a ticket to the casino party, or a ticket to the conference, or a ticket to the brunch, or a ticket to all of them. So I'm saying that because I have noticed the ticket sales. A lot of people seem to come, stay at the hotel for LobbyCon, and then go like to the Friday night dinner, and then hang out in the hotel lobby the whole time, meeting and networking with people. So I do want to make sure people, and I don't have a problem with that. People can go to whatever they want to go. I have people go to the Friday night dinner and the brunch, and they don't even go to the conference part sometimes. Most people go to everything, but that's an option for people that they can go to whatever part of it they want to go to. You can buy off an a la carte menu, just like when you go to McDonald's.
Yeah. And I just want to, so we know about the Klaus Schwab panel, but Gary, what other panels are you, in all seriousness, what other, or Opti, we haven't talked about the event, have we?
No, not yet.
Okay. So tell us about BitBlock Shoot, Gary. What is that?
Well, BitBlock Shoot, we've done this. This is our 5th year, I think, for BitBlock Shoot. And because we left Austin, we were able to lower the prices of these by 30%. So it took us a while to get the place reserved. So we just started selling tickets for that. But it's a Friday afternoon, 12 to 4 o'clock. Come and shoot the hell out of guns. We provide the guns are there available there. We provide you with some ammo. It's limited to 60 people. And we just started putting these on sale, these tickets on sale. So if you want to shoot a gun and hang out, I promise you, everybody has a good time. I haven't had anyone that's left and not had a good time. So check out the BitBlock Shoot on there under tickets. But that's a great event.
Yeah, and Gary, if I remember last year, the arsenal that people get to shoot it's just fun to shoot them anyways. Like there's some really cool guns that you guys set up for this.
And then other people even bring their own guns that are pretty cool guns. And I think we're going to have a lot of vets this year because the Bitcoin Vets group is planning on sending a lot of people. So we're probably going to have a lot of guns there. But this will probably sell out pretty fast. So I just tell people, if you're interested in this event, go ahead and buy your ticket. It's $99, I think, for this event. And it's a heck of it's a great time.
That's a great deal.
Last time the targets, which we'll probably change them up a little bit, but most targets are just a target that you see. Ours had Ethereum in the middle, Bitcoin Cash over here, XRP. So we're giving you something worth shooting at for sure. We were going to put a shitcoiner on there, but the range wouldn't let us put any people on the target.
That's hilarious. Oh my god,
man.
And YouTube, this is all fun jokes, no calls to violence or anything.
Oh no, not at all. I knew the shitcoiner and even asked him if it was okay. I said, hey, I'm going to put you on a target if it's okay. He said, sure, sounds good to me.
Oh my god,
the
that's
range
hilarious.
said no. I thought that would be really fun because everybody would know this shitcoiner for sure.
Oh man, that's hilarious. So I do want to go through now some of the speakers already. So we have, of course, the legendary Stefan Livera. We have Parker Lewis. We have Bob Burnett from Barefoot Mining. We have Bitcoin Mechanic, Rockstar Dev, Pierre Richard. So what panel? Tone Vase, Guy Swan. We have someone called Gary Leland. He's going to be a speaker as well. The Dom. Gary, could you any panels that you're excited for? Anything specifically?
I'm not really super big on panels, but this year we do have two. One's already said it's going to be a mining panel. We have mechanical on there. CJ Wilson's going to moderate it. Bob Burnett's on there. Pierre Richard's on there. That panel, that's going to be the morning panel, and then I'll set up a panel for the afternoon, which I haven't set up yet. But I'm not a real big panel person for some reason. I don't know why panels don't appeal to. Well, we do have two this year for the people who like panels. And like I said, I haven't set up the second one yet. But I think the mining one, I've got a good crew on there. And then I think Rockstar is going to do fireside chat about Nostr on the stage. We're trying to get. I talked to Jack Dorsey in Greenville and asked him, when I ran into him, I said, hey, I'm with BitBlockBoom. And he was familiar with the conference, which I thought was a good sign. And I asked him if he would come be on the fireside chat with Rockstar. And he said, when is it? And I said, it was in April. He said, I'm free in April. Send me the info and I'll take a look.
Wow.
But awesome. I have not heard back. So I'm not saying Jack's coming, but we are trying to get him. And he was open for that time period. So if anyone wants to post on X, see, come to BitBlockBoom, that probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Let's go. Well,
Very
I
cool.
have just one last question for you, Gary. Are you still looking for volunteers and sponsors for BitBlockBoom, or is it already fully filled up?
No, we definitely are looking for both. The one thing about BitBlockBoom this year that is the fact that it's in April is great because, when Bitcoin Magazine moved their event to July 1st, I started looking at the fall, and my gosh, there's like a conference almost every other week, in the fall. So I looked at spring, and by doing it in April, I'm basically one of the first conferences of the year in the United States, or sizable conferences. So, but that's the good part about it. Now, the bad part about it is I only have like 6 months to sell tickets instead of a year, and sponsorships. And we're piling on the sponsorships at the end of the year is when we started selling them, when most people already had all their sponsorship allocated, their money allocated for the year. So now we're putting a really hard job on contacting people. But yeah, both of those open. You can find on the site in the menu is a volunteer form. And then we have on there also sponsorships. You can just click. To be honest with you, most of the people who do our sponsorships just buy them online. They just go to the website and look at the sponsorships and just buy them right there. Some will send me a question or anything, but the majority of them buy online.
Could you go through the packages, the sponsorship packages, in case anyone's interested? Opti, could you pull that up?
Yeah. The platinum's gone. We still have the gold and silver's left, but streaming. I tell you, a couple of good ones are the attendee bags. That's a good one. And the badge sponsor. This is the first year that the badge sponsor hasn't been sold already, which is the back of the badge. And the sponsorship is the sponsorship itself. Tables are selling well, but we have added a secondary tier to the tables this year, where in the past it's been $3,000. Now we have an extra room that is $2,000 to do a table, exhibition table in that room, which is a really good value. I mean, I don't know any conferences you can go get a $2,000 table at. Our $3,000 price is excellent as far as that goes, but $2,000 is a great price. Gosh, we have a lot of opportunities here. We really do. The bag sponsor is a great one. Another one, I think another one that's really cool that no one's taken, and I'm surprised, is the hotel key card. We have the key to your hotel room has your logo on it. So everybody's walking around. One side of it's a BitBlockBoom logo. The other side is your company logo and information on the key that you use to your hotel room. I go to events like 6 months later, 8 months later, and someone will come up to me and they'll show me their key card. They kept it and they carry it around with them. I have no idea why, but they do. So people like the key cards, to the rooms. So that's another great one, is the key card.
100%.
And the wristband sponsor is good. Yeah. There's still several good ones left.
I am very, very excited for this. It's going to be great. I've had many, many good memories. This is going to be my third BitBlockBoom. Very, very excited. And we should be bringing back the Simply Bitcoin news desk at BitBlockBoom. Should be a lot of fun. and bring you guys a great live stream experience. So, Gary, it was really.
Wait, one last thing then,
Yeah,
Nico. Gary, I did notice that prices are increasing, so people should buy them now. Let's maybe talk about that before we roll this one
they'll
out.
go up at the end of the month. They go up the end of every month, but probably starting in March 1st, they'll go up every 2 weeks. So,
Every 2 weeks.
if they use your code and buy them now before the prices go up, they'll save quite a bit of money. And sometimes people go, I can't afford that. Well, buy whatever you can afford right now, and you can add it later. It's not like we're going to, we do sell out sometimes. The last 2 years. Well, 2 years ago we sold out again. Last year we didn't sell out. So normally we do sell out. So yeah, you might want to get your ticket. Your ticket. Well, it's not only a good price before it sells out.
Absolutely, guys. You can use promo code Simply, get yourself a 10% discount to BitBlock Boom. Highly recommend. It's going to be in Dallas, Texas this year. Opti and I are going to be there.
Hey, wait, yeah, Nico, can I chime in here? Because on like a very serious note, I legitimately feel like I have met some of my best friends and friends that will be friends for life that came out of my first BitBlock Boom event in 2020. Like all my friends now that I hang out with, I literally met them all in Meet Space for the first time at BitBlock Boom 2020. And like, these are my friends that I know they're going to be with me forever. And I just, really have a debt to just the BitBlock Boom experience. And it's Surfer Jim for convincing us to go, Nico. Like I really have a special place in my heart for BitBlock Boom. And I'm happy it's coming back to Dallas.
And I tried to make it kind of like more like I know this may sound corny, but more like a family reunion. That's
what it feels like.
I got to go because all my buddies are there that I only get to see one time a year. Because some events, and I'm not knocking any events, that's not my goal, but like in Nashville, Bitcoin magazines. Oh my gosh, that event's so big, you don't even see some of the people that you were hoping you'd run into. I went last year and didn't see people I was hunting for, much less just running into people. Where at BitBlock Boom, the speakers basically come out of the audience, go up on stage and speak, and then come back, sit in the audience. It's not like they come in from the back and lead through the back. So you have plenty of chance to network with them. That's the big thing, I think, is the fact you get to see and talk and network with all the people. It's a networking event. It's a fun networking event.
100%. 100% agree with that.
And, it's amazing how many people also, sorry, Nico, but I want to make sure and get this in, because I think this is kind of important. It's amazing how many people come up to me and go, hey, Gary, I just want to let you know, I found my dream job because I went to BitBlock Boom. They got a job in the industry, whether they met the people there or whether they talked to someone networking and told them, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm a tech guy, whatever it is, and they pass the word on to somebody. But a lot of people get their Bitcoin jobs at BitBlock Boom. I hear it every time I go to a Bitcoin event.
100%. 100%. You have to network. Opti's you're saying that, Gary, and Opti and I, our friendship really started there, and then one thing led to another, and then of course Simply Bitcoin and all that stuff. So 100% agree with that, guys. Definitely go to BitBlock Boom. Go to bitblockboom.com. Use promo code Simply, get 10% off, and we'll see you there. We'll all see you there. All three of us will be at that conference. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. I want to give a very special shout out to our guest, Gary Leland. Gary, thank you so much for coming on Simply Bitcoin today.
Thanks for having me. Hey, I want to give a big thanks to Mel too. Mel Sand. She connected all of us.
Mel's the best.
I think originally. So without her, none of us may know each other. So a big thanks to her. Yeah,
shout out to Mel. Had her over for dinner the other day. We had a steak dinner. It was delicious. Got to meet her husband. He's awesome. So yeah, Mel's amazing. She contributes so much to the space. And like I said, Gary, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Nico. As
Appreciate
always.
it. All right, guys, that was it. Smash the like button. Consider subscribing. We'll be back tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out, everybody.